Force-free training. This is a topic that I do want to talk about because it's bursting a couple of myths about force-free training which seem to be quite common. The reason I'm bringing this up is that I've seen it a lot on Facebook threads, on Instagram, and indeed even friends contacting me and asking about this. A lot of people seem to misunderstand exactly what it means to use force-free. Effectively, it means that we do not add aversives, we don't add stress, we don't add discomfort, we don't add pain to the dog. The reason this is the case is because many of the behaviours that we've got to try and help with are rooted in fear, in discomfort, in pain, in stress. So by adding more onto that, you're not actually solving the problem. You might stop a symptom, whether that symptom be barking or the symptom be lunging or the symptom being pulling. You can stop the symptom, but the root cause, which is rooted in stress, fear or discomfort, well, that's not being addressed. So in that case, we then will not add more things on, and we will take that to the root cause and work on that with concept gamification, the exercises, and by using training methods which are force-free, which means we use positive reinforcement, adding something good, whether that be food, whether it be affection, whether it be play. These are all primary reinforcers. We will then condition a secondary reinforcer, which I've spoken about previously, and with that secondary reinforcer, that then becomes a positive as well. So we use positive reinforcement in that way. When needed, we will use negative punishment, which means removing something good. So we're not adding anything bad, but we might remove our affection, we might remove attention, we might remove access. That is the only punishment that we need to use. You don't need to use anything else. If you raise your voice, if you shout, scold, hit, or do anything like that to your dog, you are effectively lowering your leadership, because a good leader does not need to raise their voice, does not need to get aggressive. I always put this down to 4 C's and 4 F's. Any of you that have done corporate training in the past will probably recognise some of these. But the 4 C's, calm. You must be calm. Confident. You must be confident in what you're asking your dog. That's just 2 pillars of good leadership. Clear. If the dog doesn't understand what you're asking of them, then of course they're not going to respond. That's something that you've got to do. The last one is consistent. So clear and consistency is very important from a training standpoint. Training helps your dog be clear in what you're asking. Consistency means that that will be conditioned. So you've got calm, confident, clear, and consistent. The 4 F's, firm. Yes, we are using force-free methods, but you must be firm, because the dog needs to understand you are talking to them. You can't just use your same conversational voice and be talking like this, then all of a sudden say, hey buddy, do this, and expect them to respond quickly. You may need to change your tone. I'm not saying getting angry, I'm not saying shouting. I'm just saying something along the lines of, Porthos, come. That's my lad. I know Ethos was in the way. So you're firm when you're asking him to do things. He knows exactly what I'm asking of him. Good boy. Then you've got your firm, then you've got fair. Do not expect your dog to do things that they're not able to do. So don't expect your dog to be able to have human rationale, to be able to have human emotions. That's not fair on your dog. I love my dogs like my children, but they do not get treated the same as Freya. Because Freya, my daughter, is a human, and these guys are dogs. I've got to treat them appropriately. I've got to understand that they are dogs. They have different needs. So that's important. You've got to be fair. And the last 2, fundamental to being a good leader, fundamental to getting the training done right, is being fun and being friendly. Because if you don't do that, the bond is not as great. You've got to keep paying into this relationship with your dog, so that when at times you may need to remove some of that goodness by doing something which they may not like, you've got enough of a positive relationship in there that it doesn't matter. So when something happens, like a truck comes past on a walk and scares them, or you've got to take them to a vet visit that they don't like, you've got enough in that positive relationship bank account that it doesn't impact you fully, and as such they will still follow you as a good leader. And that in a nutshell is force-free training. There's a lot more to it. We've got podcasts that we go deep into this. One of the podcast episodes, we go deep into training methodologies. Please check that out. I go quite deep into it there. We've got many different videos that touch on this as well. Please feel free to explore the catalogue and find things that you will find helpful.